So my biggest fear in my relationship of 17 years has been that my partner was going to find someone better and leave me. That has been my worst fear. And I would say the past 5 years has been the easiest for me and for him because I finally got to a place in my life after seeing a therapist, after reading through some books, after doing some journaling. I finally come to the realization that we're going to be together forever. He loves me, I love him, and no matter what happens, we're going to get through life together. Then just a couple months ago, I find out that my partner of 17 years has been using meth this entire time behind my back. Like whenever I go out of town for, family trip, a work trip, or, even a vacation. And yes, I have taken vacations alone because he didn't want to go. Well, now I know why. So sit back and let me tell you the story of how my partner, who's a breadwinner, I'll admit that, who's smarter than I am, who seemed to have everything under control, has been doing meth behind my back. So about, I would say 5 months ago, 4 months ago, I started noticing he's losing weight. And as an anxious person, my first thought was he has a cancer, and I'm not trying to make a joke. If you're watching and you have somebody you've lost to cancer, I am sorry. I understand that's a terrible thing, but that's where I went with it. I'm an anxious person, and so I asked him to go to the doctor. He shooed me off, which is very normal for him. As an avoidant, he doesn't do doctors. I don't think he's ever gone to the doctor. There's one time he hurt himself. I took him to the emergency room, but other than that, no, he doesn't go to the doctor. And then he started sleeping in really late, which is, I didn't complain at first because it was really nice having a Saturday and Sunday, having the house all to myself. 1 or 2 o'clock, it started out to be 1 or 2, then 3 or 4, and then eventually he was sleeping until 8 p.m. The sun was going down, and he would get up. And I thought, well, that's weird. And I wonder if this is connected to the weight loss. Now, any regular person would have probably already assumed that there was something involved. But I didn't go there because he doesn't drink. He smokes vape. He smokes cigarettes. But he doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke pot. And anytime that, a friend of mine would offer some cola, he would say, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. It's been years since we did it. He used to. Yeah, occasionally he would partake, but it's been years since. And he would always say, no, I'm not interested. So we just never did it. So I eventually asked him because I was like, maybe he could be doing something with Tina. So I asked. He said no. He said no. He said I had a coworker who left, which is true. He did have a lady that worked with him at the office who he liked a lot, and she would always take him out to eat every day. And not just McDonald's. Like they would be going to Cracker Barrel. They'd be going to Chili's, Applebee's, all kinds of local, any new restaurant that would open up, she'd be there with him. She'd drag him in. So that made total sense to me. That's why he could lose weight. Okay. Fine. But then his absences were getting longer and longer. He would leave for work, and he wouldn't come home till late. One time he left for work. He was in Manhattan, Kansas, driving back, and his stories weren't adding up. And long story short, he didn't get home till 4 a.m. Left Manhattan, telling me he's leaving Manhattan at 8 p.m. 2.5, 3 hour drive tops. And he didn't get home till 4 a.m. I tried staying awake because I'd called him in his story. Like I said, his story wasn't making sense, but he was coming home. He's coming home. He's coming home. I tried staying awake. Eventually, I passed out. I fell asleep. I couldn't stay up anymore. I woke up at 5 in the morning, and I found him on the couch in his uniform, or what he wore to work anyway, sleeping on the couch, fully clothed, shoes on, just on the couch. We have cameras, so I know what time he got home. And I'm thinking to myself, this is odd. That's very strange. So, I believe it was the next day. It was a Sunday, because that was a Saturday. Sunday rolls around. I get up early in the morning, because, just to do the house stuff. And this is when the shit hits the fan. Because I wake up, I go in the laundry room, and I notice there's a little pile of clothes on the washer. And I think to myself, well, that's weird. I never put clothes on the washer. I mean, my dryer will be piled with clothes because I don't need to open the top of the dryer. And I thought, well, I didn't put these here. And so I picked up the clothes to throw them into the, hamper pile. And out pops out a little vibrating sex toy, a cock ring, and like when you take a shopping bag and you put something in the corner of the shopping bag and you twist it and then you pull it off. I've got drugs like this, marijuana like that. I found one of those. It was empty. Just a piece of paper, just all kind of wadded up in there with everything. I'm like, well, that's weird. That's strange. So I don't say anything. I mean, I don't, barge into the room, waking him up, demanding answers like I would have, 10 years ago. Instead, I do my little research and I find out that the vibrating toy is actually a remote control device. So I didn't find a remote control. So that led me to believe that this is some kind of kinky little game he's playing with somebody else. And he has the toy and somebody else has the remote. And I'm fuming, I'm hurt, I'm a little upset. But this little baggie is also concerning me. Now it's kind of coming clearer. And of course, I investigated the bag. I looked at it. I licked it, which is probably stupid to do. But I did. And I wanted to see if it was Coca-Cola. See if I got any numbness on my tongue or anything. Nothing happened. Felt fine. I didn't feel any effects. But I thought it was strange, and the bag was a bag of color that I never recognized before. You know how your local, your Walmart bags, your Dillon's bags, your Kroger bags, whatever. This bag was just like a yellow, and I'm like, who has yellow bags? It was just strange to me. Dollar General just dawned on me. Don't make fun of me. Okay, just dawned on me. Shut up. Anyway, so I did my investigation. I stayed quiet. He gets up. His normal 4 or 5 o'clock now. He gets up, good morning. I said, good morning, not playing a game with you. Come here, I need to talk to you. He said, what? I said, what is this? And I present the evidence, not the baggie though, not the baggie, just the toys. And he looks at me and he has this, like I'm trying to come up with a lie, but I'm trying to read your face and see how much you already know. And I think, if I think back on it, he did originally say, I don't know. And then I said, don't lie. I said, I found these in your clothing on top of the washer. Nobody has been in this house for weeks. Just me and you. What is it? I don't care you have sex toys. What I want to know is who has the fucking remote control to this toy. And finally he broke down and told me, okay, yes, I have it. Nobody has a remote. He went into the bedroom, dug around, came back out with the remote. And told me that apparently it's something that he likes to do. He likes to put it on using the cock ring, attach it to his wiener, and turn it on, and just occasionally when he's out and about, and he just likes the feeling. Okay, cool. So I didn't make a huge fuss because I don't want to embarrass the guy. It's already really hard for him to share stuff with me because he's an avoidant. And I don't really care about that. That doesn't bother me at all. It does. I mean, our sex life is not very good lately. And I assume that it was because he was having erectile problems. He said no. He would say no. He'd never admit it. But now I find out that he is having some sort of fun with sex. And then with the stories of him, his work, coming home late, losing the body, something's going on. Now I'm thinking he's losing the body weight on purpose so he can be cute and fit so he can have sex. So now I decide that I need to go into Inspector Gadget mode. He's not going to tell me what I need to know. So if he's cheating on me, I want to find out who with who, and I want to figure out when, and I'm going to hold him accountable. So I'm not going to tell you how or what I did, but let's just say I came across some evidence that he was spending hella money on a website called Chatterbait. Going through the paperwork that I found, I was able to determine that when I had last time I had gone to Mexico by myself because he doesn't want to go, he had been on that website and he had spent $2,000. I guess if you know what the site is, it's people who are a bunch of people on webcams exposing themselves and having a good time and getting tokens from viewers. And viewers can buy these tokens using real money. And so that's what he was doing. He converted $2,000 over the course of 2 days into tokens and was just giving them out to folks, apparently. That's what I can surmise. And of course, the times are on there whenever the checkout, the credit card was ran, and it was all through the night, all the way from 7 p.m. all the way up until 5 a.m. both nights. I was in Mexico. I go like during the week because it's cheaper, weekdays. So he was at work, apparently, I thought. So I found that out. And so I just confront him about it. I said, "Are you fucking kidding me? You just spent $2,000 in 2 nights on that?" And he came right out and admitted it. Said, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not doing that anymore." He goes, "I got crazy." He goes, "It feels good when you can give somebody when you give a creator a bunch of tokens and they get super excited and they talk to you and they'll do things just for you." He said it's exciting to have that kind of control. Okay, I get it. Chatterbait doesn't make me jealous. I don't care about Chatterbait. Knock yourself out. But that's a lot of fucking money. But he said he's not going to do it anymore. Fine. Time goes by. There was still some interest, like some weird instances about him coming home from work. Whatever. I again found some more evidence that the week after I confronted him about the Chatterbait, he was using Chatterbait. But that time, he spent like $300. $300 to $500. His money, whatever. I don't care. July 4th rolls around. He has the whole weekend off because of his job. They're observing the whole fucking week so he's been off for days at this point already. I wake up at 5 a.m. He's not in bed. So I think to myself, okay, what's going on? So I'm just getting up. Like I said, I'm thinking he's cheating or he's doing something like that. Now I'm kind of guessing maybe he's doing something through Chatterbait. Okay. I get up, I walk around the house, I can't find him. He's nowhere to be found. There's only one room I did not check, and that's the garage. And I don't want to be that person that opens the door and like, what are you doing? And barging in. I don't want to embarrass him. I don't want to treat him like that. I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. So, I know the cars are there because we park our cars outside. Both of them still there. So I text him, what are you doing? I just want to know, what are you doing? Are you just need some time out there? Whatever. I don't get a response. So I decide, well, I'll just go knock on the garage door. I mean, it's not fair that I'm being treated this way in my own home, and I'm not trying to invade his privacy, but I want to know what the fuck he's doing. Exactly. I mean, I want to know what's working out here, because remember the baggie. So as I'm making my way back into the garage, all of a sudden he pops up. He come out of the garage, and he's in the kitchen. He meets me in the kitchen. And so he pops out of the garage after I sent the text message. Because I'm coming back to the house and through the kitchen, and boom, he's in the kitchen. So he must have come out of the garage. And he's wearing some really interesting underwear I have never seen before. And I can tell by just looking at him, his heart is racing. I can tell he is in full-blown like panic mode, and he's just staring at me, and I'm like, what's going on? And so my mind is, he has somebody in that garage. So I walk right past him, open the garage door, nobody in the garage. So I shut the garage door, and I was kind of talking to him like, what's going on? Are you on the computer? And we're going back and forth. And then I get this impression that maybe somebody's outside. Like maybe he already got him out the door and they're like running across the yard or something. So I go out the front door. Nobody out there. I come back and he has this giant black bag in his hand. And he's stuffing it down in the couch, next to the couch. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, what? I'm like, what is that? He goes, it's nothing. It's just one of my computer bags. That's not a computer bag. That's like a bag for like drills and shit. And he just looks at me. I said, what is in there? What is it? So he pulls it out. He goes, okay, I'm going to tell you. He's like, you're going to be mad, but I'm going to tell you. And he proceeds to pull out. Mind you, when I first found those toys in June, he told me that's all he had. That's it. That was the extent of his collection. Now, he is pulling out toys after toy after toy after... I mean, just so much vibrating dildos, rings, sounding equipment. If you don't know what that is, it's like where that little pole goes down the tip of your wiener. All kinds of little ball restraints and cages, and I mean, pretty much everything you could think of. Except for like whips and handcuffs. I didn't see any of that. But, yeah. And then he goes, I need to tell you something else. I'm like, what? He goes, you're going to be mad. And I'm thinking, here we go. He's going to tell me he's having sex with some young guy he's working with. He goes, I am doing meth. I have been. For a long time. Whenever you leave town, whenever I have a few days to myself, or whenever I leave town, he said he will find it, and he will smoke it. And he's been doing that for years. Except the last time that I left town, I went to, where did I go? I don't even know, my stomach's starting to turn now. Last time I left town, he said he did it. And when I came back, he couldn't stop. All the other times he could stop, he could go to sleep, eat, get back on track, and he didn't need it anymore. He didn't have to have it anymore. But from this last time, He's been hooked ever since. And he's been fighting it. He's been doing just a little bit to keep him kind of just mellowed out. Sleeping. And then he tells me, because I asked him, I said, well, you've been eating. That doesn't make any sense, because people who are meth can't eat. And he said, I've been feeding. He's like, I've been forcing myself to eat, but I've also been giving practically the entire plate to the dog. And he said he can't stop this time. He thinks about it every day. He can't stop. My stomach hurt so bad. I didn't know. I felt like I got hit by a ton of bricks. I asked him how he's getting it. He says he's just asking random people he sees on the street who he thinks has it. And he'll ask them. So dangerous. But that's what he's doing, according to him. He's smoking it. And he's using all these sex toys. And so then he's just chemsexing. And he says he's not doing it with anybody else. I don't believe him. But whatever. He says it's just him. Just, him and his toy, his bag. But the really awful part, the really shitty part, was he got mad at me when I got mad. When I started demanding questions and answers from him, he got mad at me and started bringing up stuff from the past. And said, well, I'm doing this because you did that. He took no accountability. He never said he was sorry. Which, I mean, thinking back on that now, when you're addict and you're actively using, your brain's just not working, right? I mean, you shouldn't blame him for not knowing exactly what to say to make me feel better. But what really hurt was the fact that, I let some time go by. We didn't talk to each other, kind of silent treatment around the house. And silent treatment for us is, I'll still cook for you. I'll still do your laundry and whatever. I'll still clean up around. But, I just won't talk to you. If the dog needs something, if it has to do with the pets, I will. But if I don't have to talk to you, I just won't. Same with him. We're not like locking the doors and ignoring each other like that. So for a while, we gave each other silent treatment. Finally, I came to my senses and I decided, okay, I got to put a boundary. The boundary will be that I'm not going to do this. There's a history for me with this. The first man I ever really loved, didn't love me back, by the way. He died from speedballing. He was addicted to meth for years. Went to prison. I made contact with him again when he was in prison. We chatted. He got out of prison. He apologized to me for being so cruel with my heart. And that was really good to hear. I was really glad to hear that. That made me feel really good. But he would eventually die from drugs because he just didn't realize his tolerance level and got too much. And one of my best friends, I watched my best friend take his first hit off a glass piece. And then within 2-3 months, he was shooting up. And he was chemsexing every night. And I don't know where he's at to this day. I don't know where he's at. Nobody does. I ask every time I see somebody in the community, I say, have you seen? I haven't. Don't know where he's at. He has no online profiles, and so I just can't find him. And it blows my mind because he was so straight-laced. He would drink a little bit, but he was always at my DD. He never smoked pot. He didn't smoke cigarettes. I mean, it just blows my mind. And I literally watched him we were at a, when Pat and I were on an 8-month little break, I was single. Me and my friend, we went to a private sex club, and I watched somebody give him his first hit off a glass piece, and I didn't do it because I don't want it. Like I said, I like to go to bed. I don't want to do that. So I have a history with this. I don't like it. I don't want anywhere around me. So I told Pat that. I said, you're going to have to do an outpatient rehab, inpatient. You're going to see a therapist. You're going to do something to help you out with that, because that's a big deal. If you can't stop thinking about it and now you're hooked, I'm worried for you. I love you. And he said, no. I said, well, then the only other option is that you move out, because I don't want you here. And he's like, okay, I'll move out. I'll find a place tomorrow. He didn't. But anytime I bring it up, he's like, yeah, I'm moving. I'm moving. He refuses to sleep in the bed with me because we're broke up. And I can't ask him any more questions about what he's doing, when he's doing it, because we're broke up. I'm not his boyfriend anymore. I have no right to ask him questions. Now, mind you, he's not going anywhere. I mean, I'm lucky in the sense that he's not ghosting me for 4 or 5 days, doing whatever, God knows what. He's been home the whole time. He's just in that garage, or he's sleeping. So I'm currently at a park. He's at home, asleep, but he wasn't when I woke up. I woke up at 7 this morning. He was wide awake. And as I was leaving the house, he was like, hey, can I use the bedroom? Can I use the bed in the bedroom? Is that okay? I paid for the bed. But yeah, I don't care. I'm not sure. Go knock yourself out. So I left, watered my plants, and now I'm here at the park. Had a little breakfast, talking to you, rambling. So I don't know, guys. If you're still here, still listening to this far into this video, thank you. I just had to tell somebody. I had to talk to somebody. Even if you can't talk to me back, I don't care. You can leave a comment if you want. But I do not want my relationship to fall apart, but I just don't. I really wish he was having an affair. I really wish he was sleeping with some 19-year-old Twinkie. That would have been easier for me to handle. So bring him over. We could all do it. Kidding. No, but this is just like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to ever trust him on any kind of real level again, because this is just far too much. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye. I don't know. I think I made